New year, new look.
Hey, boss, there's snow on the ground. I'm gonna go skinny dip.
Same damn format.
This feels so good in my man bits.
Oh, for crying out loud, put your clothes back on. There's kids outside.
Right here. Let's go.
Yes, I'm back to review the first movie of the year. Well, it isn't the first one in 2019, but rather the first one I've seen since my long hiatus. And as for the long hiatus I've been on, I would apologize, but what would that do? Anyway, let's kick off 2019 with Glass. This film is the third installment of M. Night Shyamalan's superhero series. First one being Unbreakable, starring Bruce Willis as David Dunn, who is a person that has super strength and the power to see people's thoughts through a single touch. It also stars Samuel L. Jackson as Elijah Price, who helps David by realizing the fact that he is a superhero. However, spoiler alert if you have never seen Unbreakable, we find out that Price is in fact a villain mastermind who calls himself Mr. Glass. In the second installment, Split, is about a man named Kevin Crumb, played by James McAvoy, who suffers from a severe case of multiple personality disorder. The film itself was largely a psychological horror, about a man that has 23 different personalities, imprisons and isolates 3 young girls throughout the whole movie. And then we come to Glass. The movie opens up with us seeing what David's been up to for the last 19 years. By day he owns a security business with his son, but by night he walks the streets doing what superheroes do normally. He eventually runs into Kevin, who has kidnapped another group of teenagers. The two clash right at the get-go, but then they get captured by the cops and then taken to a mental institution where Elijah is being held at. It's here where we're introduced to Dr. Ellie Staples, played by Sarah Paulson. She's conducting a therapy trying to convince David, Kevin, and Elijah that the whole superhero and villain business is nothing more than just an elaborate imagination, that they don't really have any superhuman powers. And to be honest, it seems to be working on David and Kevin, but Elijah doesn't buy it and pretty much wants to show the whole world that heroes and villains exist. And that is about as brief as I want to be with this plot, because however, if I say anything more, I'm going to go into spoiler territory. So let's start off with what I liked about this film. James McAvoy as Kevin, or now referred to as the Horde, does an amazing job switching between the personalities. The acting range in this man should be applauded because you get the sense that he's truly 23 people inside one body. From the calm, collective Miss Patricia, to the forever 9-year-old Hedwig, who, by the way, is my personal favorite, to the vicious, powerful Beast. I really enjoyed watching him play these characters, and like in Split, it kept me invested in the film. The other thing that I really liked is how this film made you question whether this is really in their heads or not. During the story, the doctor gave some sound explanation on how these guys were doing these extraordinary feats. It came to the point that the characters themselves were starting to have doubts of their powers, which in turn gave the audience the same doubts too. Hell, it had me convinced, and that to me is a sign of good story structure. And Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Mr. Glass was very convincing to me. Now he did spend the most of the movie in a comatose state, but goddamn, he was creepy as hell. But when he became that mastermind villain that we all know him to be, he was fantastic. But with that, he didn't really get that much screen time, which leads into what I didn't like about this film. Now this movie has 3 acts, the first one devoted to David, the second one to Kevin, and the last one of course Glass himself. Even though they had 3 acts to this film, it seemed kinda uneven. If anything, it felt like it was focused more on Kevin than it did on Elijah or David, to the point it felt more like a Split sequel. As for the film in a whole, it was a slow burn, but I was fine with that because it was building up to the film's climax. But the problem is that the payoff left me a little bit underwhelmed. Now, underwhelmed is not exactly the word I really wanted to use, but it's close to how I felt. Because if I use any other word, it would literally ruin this film for you guys. Like all Shyamalan's work, there is a twist that usually makes or breaks the movies. The twist in Unbreakable is by the end you realize it's a superhero movie all along. As for Split, the twist happens in the last seconds of the film. To me, I thought the movie was alright, up until the end when it connected it to the Unbreakable universe and it catapulted from okay to holy shit! However, the twist in this film, you weren't really surprised. Well, for me, I wasn't, and it left me going, wait, is that it? Is That how you gonna end it all? Okay. Folks, despite the gripes that I have of this movie, I did enjoy it, and it's really worth a watch, so that's why I'm giving it a rating of a B-. Before I wrap up this episode, I just want to thank you all for sticking with me throughout my break, and I promise you guys that I will be back for more reviews in 2019. But until then, this is Faceless, signing off.
Right here. Let's go.
Peanut butter disaster.